Hi, I'm Matt, 27, and last June, my parents gave my brother Liam a brand new $40,000 Tesla for graduation. They handed me a handwritten coupon for one hug anytime. So I packed my things in silence and left before sunrise. I didn't cry. That's important. You should know that up front. I didn't break anything or scream or call them names. There was no scene. I just stood in the dim hallway, suitcase by my side, staring at that coupon like it was a verdict. A single scrap of lined notebook paper. In my mom's handwriting. A dotted line heart where her name should be. To Matthew, for being such a thoughtful son. Redeemable for one hug. Anytime. Love, Mom. Liam's Tesla was gleaming in the driveway, parked diagonally like it knew it didn't belong to a parking space but to a lifestyle. Custom plates read, STEM for life. Because he's a biomedical engineering grad now. Because he's the golden one. They were all outside taking selfies with it. Mom in her silk scarf and brunch heels. Dad grinning like Elon himself had dropped by. Even the dog wore a bandana that said, My brother's a graduate. I stayed on the porch, watching through the screen door. No one looked back at the house. No one noticed I hadn't come out. Maybe they assumed I was still asleep. Maybe they didn't think of me at all. The hug coupon had been left on my pillow. Folded. No envelope. The thing is, it would have been fine if they hadn't gotten him anything either. If we'd all done a card, a cake, a backyard dinner with plastic forks. I'm not greedy. I'm not entitled. I'm not 12. I'm 27 years old. I pay my own rent. I do my own taxes. I've never asked them for a cent since college. But a Tesla? A $40,000 car for him, and for me, a hug. Not even a hug. The idea of one. Optional. Theoretical. A future hug, perhaps. If I request it. If it's convenient. I thought maybe I was overreacting. Maybe they were planning something else for me. My birthday's in July. Maybe they were waiting. But deep down, I already knew. The silence was too familiar. The logic too rehearsed. Liam worked hard. He graduated with honors. You already have a car. You've always been so independent. Don't make this about you. Those aren't quotes from that day. Those are lifetime quotes. Standard issue. I could print them on kitchen towels. I watched them toast with mimosas in the driveway. Watch Liam plug in his new toy. Watch them take turns sitting in the driver's seat like it was a throne. And then I went upstairs. I packed what mattered. Not everything. Just the important pieces: laptop, passport, charger, socks, the blue mug from college, my one good blazer, the cash I keep in the shoebox behind the board games. I left the note on my nightstand. Thanks for the hug. I'm redeeming it now. Love, Matt. Then I stepped outside into the early morning light, before anyone was awake, before the door creaked too loud. My old Civic clicked when I turned the key. Not a hum. Not a whir. A real mechanical ignition, like a car from a decade ago. Because it is. I didn't have a plan, just a direction: west. Away. The first night I slept in a roadside motel in Indiana. Not the nice kind. The kind where the AC rattles and the front desk clerk doesn't make eye contact. It was perfect. I thought maybe I'd feel free. I didn't. I felt invisible. I kept checking my phone. I wasn't sure what I was waiting for. A missed call? A voicemail? Hey Matt, where are you? We're worried. Something. Anything. I got 2 texts. From Mom. Hope you're having a good morning. We're doing Liam's brunch now, smiley face. From Dad. Don't forget to return the hedge trimmer when you're done with it. No mention of the note. No mention of me. I stayed on the road for 2 weeks. I drove through Iowa, Nebraska, Colorado. Ate gas station meals. Slept in cheap hotels. Played old playlists I hadn't touched since high school. I remembered things I hadn't thought about in years. The time I'd built Liam a diorama for his 5th grade science fair when he got sick. The time I gave up a summer internship to help Mom when Dad got laid off. The time I stayed up all night editing Liam's college essay because he forgot the deadline. I remembered the last Christmas where I bought everyone gifts, real, thoughtful gifts, and got a $25 Amazon card in return. No tag. No envelope. Just the code. I remembered the birthday 2 years ago when they forgot to call until 9 p.m. because they were out late at a trivia thing with Liam's team. No cake. No card. Just, we'll make it up to you next weekend. They never did. In Denver, I stopped at a park and watched a kid feed pigeons with his dad. The dad had a paper bag of crumbs and was making up names for each bird. That one's Steve. That one's Linda. Careful, Linda's a pecker. They laughed. It wasn't a big thing. Just a soft, quiet kind of love. Present. Active. I thought about texting my parents. I thought about saying, I'm okay. But I didn't want that to be the start of a negotiation. I didn't want to hear, why didn't you just say something? Because I had. 100 times. Just not out loud. Instead, I got a job. In a bookstore. Small place. Smells like old paper and bitter coffee. I don't make much, but I sleep better. I rented a 1-bedroom with wood floors and a view of a fire escape. It's not much, but it's mine. I didn't tell them where I moved. I didn't leave a forwarding address. A few weeks later, I got a birthday card in the mail. No return address. Just, hope you're doing well. You've always been our little adventurer. Happy birthday, love, Mom and Dad. Tucked inside was a new coupon. This one's for 2 hugs. Anytime. I folded it in half and put it in the junk drawer. Just in case. 2 months into my new life, the bookstore started feeling like home. Not capital H, home, like the place you decorate with throw pillows and scented candles, but the kind of lowercase home where people remember your name and don't ask where you came from. A kind of neutral kindness. That was enough. My boss, Jules, is in her 60s and wears combat boots with floral dresses. She calls everyone kid and chain smokes between chapters of Russian novels. She didn't ask why I left where I came from. She just said, you're on time and alphabetized like a librarian on Adderall. You're hired. I took that as affection. Most days I ran the register and reshelved misplaced books. I learned that people are weirdly passionate about bookmarks and that no one, and I mean no one, wants a movie tie-in cover. I started recognizing regulars. The woman who buys only murder mysteries and flirts with Jules. The guy who reads self-help books in the aisle and never buys them. The kid who comes in every Tuesday for the next volume of whatever fantasy epic he's reading. No one asked about me. And that felt like the safest kindness in the world. Until Liam showed up. It was a Tuesday. I remember because the fantasy kid had just asked me if dragons could technically be vegan. I was halfway through a speculative answer about magical chlorophyll when the door chimed and there he was. Liam. In the flesh. In his perfectly ironed shirt and fresh haircut. Looking like a TED Talk who came to life. He stood in the doorway like he wasn't sure it was really me. Matt? I froze. My stomach sank like it recognized a threat my brain hadn't caught up to yet. He walked toward the counter slowly, like I might run. I've been looking for you, he said. How'd you find me? Mom tracked your bank account, he said, almost sheepish. They still had access from when you set up the family iCloud thing. She saw a charge from a bookstore in Denver. I felt like I'd swallowed gravel. They'd been freaking out. Calling it your episode. Ah, yes. My episode. The word they use when I finally say I'm hurt. The word that means overreaction. The word that lets them keep the spotlight. I'm fine, I said flatly. He looked around the store like it was a foreign country. You work here? Yeah. But why? Because I'm not your symbol. Because I needed to disappear. Because you got a Tesla and I got a coupon. Because here, people ask me if I want room in my coffee and they mean it. Instead, I just said, I like books. Liam nodded slowly. You know they're worried about you. They didn't text. They didn't know how. You mean they didn't want to be told it was their fault? He looked stung. It's not like that. No? What's it like then? He didn't answer. Instead, he reached into his pocket and pulled out something small and folded. Paper. My hand instinctively clenched. I brought this, he said, and slid it across the counter. It was a coupon. Typed this time. Laminated. Like a joke gift from a corporate retreat. Redeemable for 1 Tesla test drive. Love, Liam. I stared at it. Then back at him. You drove here? Yeah. All the way. From Chicago. Wanted to talk. I laughed, bitter and sudden. So now I'm worth a road trip. Matt, come on. No. You come on. You stood there in the driveway, posing with the car while I stood inside with a goddamn slip of paper. It wasn't like that. It's always like that. I left the counter. Walked into the back room before I could throw something. Jules looked up from her dog-eared copy of the Brothers Karamazov. Trouble? Brother. Alive? Unfortunately. She stood up, adjusted her boots, and said, Want me to ban him? I half laughed. Can you do that? I ban people for chewing gum too loud. I have no shame. I didn't say anything. Want to talk about it? She asked. No. Want a cigarette? Don't smoke. Me neither. She said, lighting one. Still helps. We stood in silence for a minute, the air hazy with smoke and shared exhaustion. You know what they say about family. She muttered. What? Same circus. Different clowns. When I came back out, Liam was gone. The coupon was still on the counter. On the back, he'd written. I didn't get it. I still might not. But I'm trying. Call me if you want. I folded it once. Didn't rip it. Didn't throw it away. But I didn't call. The next week, Jules handed me a package. Guy dropped this off. Didn't leave a name. Just said it was for you. Inside was a paperback copy of The Velveteen Rabbit. My favorite childhood book. The one I used to make Liam read with me before bed. He always pretended he hated it, but he remembered the voices. Inside the cover, a note in familiar handwriting. I didn't know you still felt like the stuffed one. I didn't know we made you feel worn out instead of loved. That's on me. Not you. Liam. I sat down on the floor of the stockroom and cried for the first time since I left home. Not because I forgave them, but because someone finally saw the shape of the wound. A few days later I called. He picked up on the first ring. I'm not coming back, I said. I know. I don't forgive Mom and Dad. Fair. But I think I could maybe talk to you. I'd like that, he said. Even without the Tesla. I smiled, for real this time. I'm keeping the coupon though. Better use it soon, he said. The car doesn't even have a glove box. 3 weeks after that call, Liam showed up again. This time he brought pizza. From a place in town that I'd mentioned once on the phone, offhandedly. Best crust I've had since college, I'd said. He remembered. And he brought 2 pizzas, unprompted. One with mushrooms and olives, which he hates. Mine. It was 7:15 when he knocked. I opened the door in socks and flannel, expecting a delivery guy, not my brother with a sheepish smile and a pizza box like a white flag. Truce? He said. I hesitated. You remembered the olives, I said. Never forgot. He shrugged. Just ignored it for a decade. We sat on the couch, legs up on milk crates, because I still didn't own a coffee table. The pizza boxes sat between us like some kind of peace summit. I asked, So are you just dropping by or is there a second coupon in your pocket? No coupon, he said. Just news. I chewed slowly. Okay. He put down his slice. They're selling the house. I stopped mid-bite. What? Mom and Dad. Listing it next month. Downsizing. Something about empty nest and getting a condo downtown. My stomach twisted. The house? Yeah. I thought of the crooked stair I used to leap over. The den with the weird sunspot where we'd do puzzles. The dent in the hallway wall from the time Liam tried to ride a mattress down the stairs. Did they tell you? They told me to tell you. Of course they did. They want you to come back. He added. For dinner. One last time. Before it sells. I didn't answer. The idea of going back felt like rewinding a tape I'd already burned. They said they'd make that mushroom thing you like. I'm allergic to mushrooms. He blinked. Since when? Since I was 12. He looked stunned. I thought that was just a phase. You're thinking of when I refused to eat pork for a month because of Babe the pig. Oh yeah? He grinned. That was annoying. I laughed despite myself. Liam grew quiet. I think they're trying, he said, voice lower now. Badly. But trying. I nodded. But it's always me who has to translate their effort into meaning. Always me who has to forgive them in advance. I know. No, you don't. He looked at me then. Really looked. You're right, he said. I didn't get it. I'm not sure I ever fully will. But I want to try. And if you come to that dinner, just one last time, I promise I'll be the one who listens this time. I won't translate. I won't buffer. Just back you up. That threw me. You'd do that? Yeah. I owe you more than a coupon. I stared at the pizza. The crust was a little burnt. It smelled like middle school sleepovers and birthday parties. It smelled like history. I said, okay. Dinner was scheduled for the following Friday. I showed up 10 minutes late on purpose. Old habit. Self-protection. The house looked the same from the outside. Same garden gnomes. Same wind chimes. Same broken porch light. Inside, it smelled like lasagna and Febreze. The kitchen had been scrubbed within an inch of its life. Mom was wearing lipstick. Dad was in his "Company's coming" shirt. Matt. Mom beamed like I was a returning war hero. Hey, I said stiffly. Liam gave me a subtle nod from across the room. I nodded back. Dinner started normal. Stiff. Safe topics. Weather. Gas prices. Liam's job. My bookstore. Mom asked if I had moved up to manager yet, which made me want to laugh and cry at the same time. But then dessert came. And with it, words. Dad cleared his throat. We know things haven't been fair, he said. We know we made mistakes. Mom added. The Tesla wasn't about favoritism. At least, we didn't think it was. We just wanted to celebrate Liam's degree. We didn't realize how it would feel to you. You didn't realize? I said quietly. Liam didn't interrupt. He just watched me. Ready. You gave him a car, I said. A $40,000 car. And me, a coupon for a hug. What part of that says we love our sons equally? They both looked down. I think, I continued, I've always been the backup generator. There when things break. Quiet. Low maintenance. I got good grades, so no one worried. I didn't ask for things, so no one offered. I left, and it took you 3 weeks to notice. Mom teared up. Dad looked like he wanted to explain but didn't. You don't have to apologize, I said. Just don't rewrite it. Don't tell me I imagined the distance. We're not, Dad said. Good. Because I don't want the car. I don't want money. I just want it to matter. You do, Mom said quickly. You always have. Liam reached across the table and placed something in front of me. It was the coupon. The original one. One hug. Anytime. He had laminated it. I stared at it. Then I slid it across to Mom. I'm redeeming this, I said. Right now. She stood crying now and hugged me. Dad stood too, awkwardly, and joined in. Liam leaned back, arms crossed, nodding like a coach watching his plan finally work. It wasn't perfect. But it was a start. After dinner, I walked through the house one last time. The backyard. The staircase. My old room. Still painted blue. Still full of old posters and the lamp I hated but couldn't throw away. Liam came to the door with me. You good? He asked. Getting there, I said. We hugged. No coupon needed. As I walked to my car, he called out. Hey, Matt? Yeah? You ever think about moving back? I thought about it. About the bookstore. About the quiet mornings. About the space I'd made for myself. No, I said. But I might visit more. I didn't move back. I didn't forgive everything. But I stopped waiting for an apology that would never sound the way I wanted. Instead, I rebuilt. 3 months after that dinner, Liam texted me a photo. Mom framed the coupon. Hung it in the hallway. I stared at it on my phone for a long time. A simple frame. Matte black. Centered perfectly on the wall where our baby pictures used to hang. It didn't fix everything. But it made me laugh. Later that night, he sent a second photo, a different piece of paper. Not handwritten. Printed. Typed in 12-point Times New Roman. Certificate of redemption, 1 Tesla test drive, now expired. Below that, in tiny italics. Because some things aren't meant to be returned. Only remembered. I called him immediately. Who made that? I asked. Mom did. She said she's learning Canva? God help us. She said it's her way of saying sorry. I didn't respond. But I didn't hang up either. In October, Liam visited me in Denver again. He didn't bring a pizza this time. He brought boxes. From the attic. Your stuff, he said. The old trophies, the yearbooks, the sketchbooks. She found them while packing. She said, give these to Matt. They belong where he lives. I hadn't even realized she'd kept them. We sat on the floor of my apartment and flipped through the past. A spelling bee ribbon. A Polaroid of me in braces. My first library card. A crumpled essay from sophomore year titled, What Makes a Good Brother? Liam read it out loud and winced. I was kind of a jerk. You were 12. You still ended the essay with, I love my brother, even when he forgets me. I shrugged. I was consistent. Around Christmas, they sold the house. Mom sent me photos. Empty rooms. The backyard bare of lawn chairs. A note scribbled at the bottom of the email. You left first. We just caught up. No guilt trip. No drama. Just honesty. I sent back a photo of my apartment window. The bookstore across the street glowing yellow in the snow. You're welcome to visit. Anytime. And they did. Not often. Not perfectly. But they came. Mom stayed for a weekend and helped reorganize my kitchen. Didn't criticize the mismatched plates. Didn't bring up career paths. Just chopped onions and told me stories about her college dorm. Dad came 2 months later. Alone. He didn't say much. Just sat in the bookstore and read for 3 hours. Then bought me a mug that said, World's okayest son, and grinned when I saw it. I laughed. It was the first gift he'd picked without Liam's help. Progress. I still live in Denver. Still work at the bookstore. Still drink my coffee black and alphabetize obsessively. Liam visits every few months. We play cards. We argue about music. We walk without talking. He brought a girl last time. Emma. She reads horror novels and gives Liam crap for owning 2 fitness watches. I like her. I asked him once, do they know how far it went? How close I was to never coming back? He nodded. Yeah. They know. And? They talk about it sometimes. Quietly. I think they're scared to push. Good, I said. Let them work for it. I kept the second coupon. The laminated one. It lives in the drawer where I keep my keys. Every now and then I hold it. It doesn't mean what it used to. Back then, it was proof I was forgotten. Now it's proof I walked away. And that walking away made space for something real. The thing about love is, it's not the car. It's not the party or the Instagram story or the perfect speech at graduation. It's knowing someone sees you. And when they don't, when they forget, when they miss it, when they hand you a paper hug while the other kid drives away, it's knowing you still get to choose how your story ends. Not them. You. So I did. And now? Now I'm okay. Not perfect. Not fixed. Just okay. Which is exactly where I want to be. And if I ever need a hug, I've got a coupon for that. Redeemable. Anytime.